I'm on a mission to see all 666 animal species in South Carolina. So today we're starting off at Bunched Arrowhead Nature Preserve to show you all some incredible animals. So let's get to it. Today we are at Bunched Arrowhead Heritage Preserve, which is a small loop that's about a mile and a half around. But it's got this big open brushland. We're going to see a lot of birds out here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to join me on this journey. And already right in the start, I made a huge mistake by oversleeping on a Saturday morning. I wanted to get here at this location at around 7 o'clock, 7:30 for sunrise. That's when birds are most active, but instead I slept until 11 o'clock, didn't get here until about 12. So yeah, not off to a great start, but I saw these oak trees off in the distance and I saw a lot of birds flying in and out of this tree. So this was my first spot to go to. And of course, the first animal that we come across is one that we're not even looking for. We're not doing invertebrates on this list because it would literally be around 20,000 species. But this is a Gulf fritillary. At first I thought it was a monarch, but definitely not. And after looking at the footage, this is definitely a Gulf fritillary. Very cool and very vibrant species that did not want to stand still. And then afterwards, I came across something that no photographer wants to come across, and it's a giant spider web that was around 20 feet in diameter. This video does not do it justice, and I avoided this thing like the plague. But the one thing that really inspired me to do this whole project was just because I wanted to get out in nature more. Up in Pennsylvania, there's not a lot of trails, especially near Philadelphia, at least that aren't heavily polluted or oversaturated with people. But birding and photography is a lot bigger down here than I ever really knew. Oh, I just heard something. Oh, I see something flying off in the distance over there. It's going right over that large tree. Here, let me flip the camera. Right over there, I believe it's a large oak. I've been seeing a lot of birds flying in and out of that tree, so we're gonna make our way over that way. Now I'm starting to hear, oh, yeah, there's one flying right now. So let's go see if we get lucky. But even with it being fall and just after a massive hurricane with Hurricane Helene, this place was still beautiful. So I definitely want to come back here again. And then once again, I came across another animal we weren't looking for. This time it's another fritillary, but it is a variegated fritillary. Don't know the difference besides the pattern, but very cool nonetheless. Hurricane Helene has come through and absolutely demolished the area around here. Thankfully, South Carolina didn't get hit nearly as bad as North Carolina and Tennessee did. So we were very, very fortunate. But there's a lot of trees down, and it's going to take a while. A lot of the state parks that I was planning on going to are currently closed indefinitely. Actually, I'll have a video coming out of Conisty, which is located just outside of Greenville, and it is completely destroyed now because of Helene. So I'll definitely include some photos of that they shared on their community page. But a lot of volunteers are currently working on getting all that built back up and getting it all restored to how it's supposed to be. But it's going to take a while. So it's just crazy, even walking through like this natural area, how affected it really was because of the high winds. I have never seen a football like this. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has like a heel. If anybody knows what that is, let me know, because it is weird. I've never seen one like it. I'm just definitely going to take some photos of this, trying to see what it is. I can't think of anything that has 5 toes. Even after looking at this photo in post and editing it to try and get an outline, I literally have no clue what made this footprint. There's no mammal in this forest and general area that would make this footprint. It can't be a raccoon, can't be a bear, it can't be a bobcat. So I literally have no clue, and it's too small to be an adult human foot. And so far, the only possible hypothesis that I have as to who made or what made this footprint is that it was potentially somebody's like young kid, or possibly a toddler or a young child that just has a very, very messed up foot. But finally, after about 30 minutes of walking around, after scaring every single bird and missing every single shot, I finally got this horrible video of a northern cardinal sitting in a bush. This is the first animal that we came across, so this is the first one in the books out of 666, and man, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought it would. And as for the first mammal that we can check off our list, it's the eastern gray squirrel, because what other animal could it possibly be? These guys are literally everywhere, and this guy actually walked right across the path of where I was. But the eastern gray squirrels down here in South Carolina are a lot smaller and nowhere near as fluffy as they are in Pennsylvania, and I assume that has to do with the climate and not having to deal with such harsh winters like they would have to up in the Northeast. But as I was walking down the trail, it felt like I was being followed by a bird. They would nonstop chirp at me, and I could not for the life of me get an actual video of them until I finally caught them off guard. And I'm pretty sure that this is a rose-breasted grosbeak. Unfortunately, it is a female. The males have this bright red plumage on their chest as well as its black head. So here's a picture of them. They're really cool looking, and hopefully we'll be able to see one pretty soon. But that is species number 3. And then I found another little bird species walking along the forest floor. This is an ovenbird, and I was very surprised and didn't know that they were like as yellowish green as they are. So at first I didn't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure this is an ovenbird, and towards the end of this clip, it gets chased off by another species that I'll highlight later. Make my way around the loop of this preserve, I came across this embankment that would have been a perfect opportunity to catch some birds up in the trees as I was eye level with them, and I got just that. As I was able to get some half decent shots of this brown thrasher, he was chewing on some bugs that looked like, and he was just sitting right at eye level for me. So I definitely need to work on my photography skills still and getting a good focus on these birds, especially when they're moving. But that's going to come with time, but this is yet another bird that we can add to this list of a very long list of bird species. And right afterwards, the same individual popped back up next to this pond I was sitting at, so here's a better shot of that brown thrasher. All right, I just found this beautiful pond here. Well, not the best looking pond. It's very boggy, but so yeah, I'll probably sit here for like about a half hour, see what pops up. And so I waited and waited and waited, and nothing came up. So I decided to move on. But this is not my idea. This is actually, there's a YouTube channel called Creature Chronicles, and he randomly came across my my YouTube recommended videos. So I watched it and I was like, oh, that's a fun idea. I was like, I could probably do something very, very similar to that. So he's focusing on like amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. I'm adding on their fish because I do like fishing. I definitely want to do some like creek walks where we go and find like little creek chubs and all that sort of stuff. And I should also mention that I am not great at photography. I'm no expert. I'm actually quite the opposite. I am a complete noob when it comes to this. I did hours of research to try and find a camera Mac that's not going to break the bank, but will do what I need it to do. I eventually do want to upgrade up to a 500 or 600 millimeter lens. They say 400 is great, but I want to get super close, especially when I'm filming smaller birds. That's incredibly important. The 250 millimeter doesn't quite have the reach that I'm really looking for. So far, we've been pretty unlucky today. There's just not a lot of birds out right now, and when they are, they're super sketched out by me. So I just got to learn how to be a lot more quiet in this environment. But having all these dead leaves everywhere is not helping. But we're gonna push forward. Ooh, horrible sunlight. But we're gonna push forward, and hopefully we'll catch something really, really interesting. I'm not gonna give up. We just got to keep pushing forward. As I got back into the open field, I saw this wooden tower which has a bat box on it. I tried to get a little bit closer to see if anybody was inside, but it was nothing but hornets, which is pretty unfortunate, but maybe we'll see them in the future. And I'm almost positive that early in the morning, if I was on time, this place would be popping with birds, especially on some of this taller shrubbery as they try to feed early on in the morning. And it is just beautiful right now with the fall colors starting to come in. All right, I went ahead and ate, got some water in me, rehydrated, went ahead and rested up for the past 30 minutes, and we're about to go back out there, so hopefully we'll have some more luck. It looks like temperatures went down about 2 degrees. It's not much, but I am seeing a lot more birds flying around from what I'm looking at, which I have a pretty clear view of this grassland in front of me. So I'm feeling very hopeful, I'm feeling very excited, so let's get to it. When I first moved to South Carolina, people were always telling me that squirrels are pretty hard to come by and that they barely ever see them. Once I got to this preserve, they were literally everywhere. I could not pass a dozen trees without finding 2 or 3 squirrels, and this is just another one of the dozens that I came across. And here's another ovenbird that I came across, much better video this time, so hopefully the videos just get better and better from here on out. And I literally followed this bird from tree to tree to tree, and I finally got some half decent shots, and this is a northern parula, and you could tell from the brownish color on its chest. And these brown thrashers were literally everywhere, except this one just did not want to stick around. I heard some leaf litter bouncing around next to me, and I looked down and I saw what I thought was an eastern worm snake bounced around for a second, but instead it's this millipede. Does anybody know why it's freaking out like this? Please let me know. There was this smaller observation deck, and I tried to sit there for about 15-20 minutes and ended up just taking some B-roll instead because I didn't see anything flying around, didn't see any deer or anything of interest. Maybe next time. And if this isn't evidence that I need to upgrade to a bigger lens, then I don't know what is, but I'm pretty sure this is a northern flicker, another rarer bird that I was not expecting to see. pretty cool nonetheless, but I wish I had better footage of it. And no, I'm not kidding. These dudes are literally everywhere. Where there's no birds, I promise you, there are squirrels. Oh, an eastern Towie. Oh, and he's gone. But from the underbelly alone, even though this is poor quality and it was literally seconds, that is 100% an eastern Towie. At first, I thought this is another oven bird, but I double checked and I'm pretty sure this is a black-throated blue warbler, except it's a female. The males are very vibrant, so I hope to see one pretty soon, and I can't wait to show you guys. And on my way out, heading back to my car to end off the day, I came across this eastern phoebe that wanted to give me a surprise visit. So very cool species to wrap the day up on. Overall, we didn't have a ton of luck today. We didn't see too many birds. I think it was just I got here way too late. I got here at about noon. It's about 4 o'clock now. Beautiful place. I absolutely love this place. I definitely feel like there would be some barred owls possibly, especially some of these larger oaks. But if you guys definitely want to continue following me on this project to see every single animal in South Carolina, feel free to do so. Feel free to give me any advice, especially when it comes to cameras. I definitely have to upgrade this lens up to at least a 400 because there were some birds that were just so far away or they were tall, high up in the trees. I just really couldn't get a good zoom on them, at least for an identification. But that is a learning process that I'm going through. So any advice would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, also if you have any cool spots, if you're in the South Carolina area or even North Carolina or Tennessee, I know a lot of these areas are still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Probably within the next couple weeks, some places are going to open up, such as Paris Mountain, which is actually just over there. I can see the top of it. There's a couple other areas like Francis Marion National Forest, Conda State Wildlife Preserve. Just all these beautiful places that have been destroyed, or there's a lot of felled over trees because of Hurricane Helene. But I hope to get out there as soon as possible once everything's all cleared up. But yeah, I appreciate all the love and care, guys. This is the first video. This is the first IRL content that I'm actually making. So feel free to like, favorite, subscribe, whatever you want to do. My socials are on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. And let's go find some animals.